Hello. It's quite late. It's after 3 a.m., so I'm trying to speak low. Um, I wonder if caterpillars that are gonna become moths or butterflies, how active their minds are when they're in their cocoons. A lot of times, people with depression are compared with the phoenix, a mythical bird that rises from the ashes, or cocooned caterpillars. I think that you see yourself and what you can be, why you're not. I don't have low self-esteem. I think other people do that for me pretty well. In my opinion, I don't know that. Sometimes, if someone thinks negatively or says negative things, it's through other means of exchanging energies. So it's not necessarily true, but in order to stand firm or feel more comfortable, your opinion comes out in a negative form against somebody else, whereas they're not doing anything to interrupt your life negatively or impact you at all. So I see things for myself. This is a good time to talk about it, the new year. I bet a lot of people do. What you can do, but you don't do. Maybe it wouldn't be defined as depression. Knowing that you've done things before, and where did it take you? Also, people who are unable to, I wouldn't say it's gloating, but when I've cared for a quadriplegic who has since passed, it is hard to know that they're never going to be able to again use their arms or legs. So it's a cop-out. It could be a cop-out, but I feel like there's this horse to jump over. We did that in elementary school gym class. We had to jump over one of those leather gymnastic horses, and we had you run and there's this springboard to jump up and over it, and you could use your hands on it, or I think that was all we were able to do. None of us were really profound gymnasts at the time. And then you just don't. You look at the fact that you could or that you have, and you feel those feelings, and it's just not your path. And you're not sure why the feeling comes to you that you want to do these things. But maybe there's something greater that's holding you back. That's how heavy it is within you to move forward in that direction. Disease, illness eats away at anybody's body. It doesn't matter how strong and healthy you are and have been. They say science has proven that's you take care of yourself, it'll go far. You probably do. You feel better. But just living life and being in tune with others around me, I just see all these different lifestyles and choices, diets, exercises, and really I feel like this being yourself really is so helpful. But that's, who are you then? I tried to be vegan and I felt really healthy and really good. And then people around me wanted me to not do that. And it's so easy since I've grown up omnivorous. Science backs, and it's a simple way to get protein. Eating meat, I enjoy it. So it's just an easy situation to fall out of, something that you think you're doing that's good for yourself, and others around you may think otherwise, like anorexia or a lot of poor eating habits, bulimia. You're enjoying, you're having fun, somebody cooked you this food, they brought you this food, it's a celebration, birthday, you're eating cake and ice cream. You feel guilty if you don't eat it, and then you feel guilty because you have. So you feel like you have to purge after you've enjoyed it, or you're deciding not to eat at all. Restricting yourself, control, being in control, not necessarily focused on health or even being skinny, just knowing that you're in control. Movement, exercise. I'm not good at it at all. I was in the Army and I would be woken up at 4 a.m. or earlier, sometimes in the middle of the night, to go for runs, to do mountain climbers, jumping jacks, all those things. And my body felt its greatest, its best it's ever felt. I wouldn't say I have any trauma from that situation at all, other than the fact that I cannot do that for myself, or at least not in this mindset. I guess it is all about your mindset, being able to be comfortable in your skin and your situation, live your best life with what you've got. So a lot of situations you put yourself in and you can't, but you can. It feels like you can't, but you can. So being motivated, I guess one easiest thing it is for me to do, and I try not to feel guilty first, because there's stages of cleanliness and organization. And there's a tendency for me, especially with dust, like on baseboards, it accumulates so fast. So I don't really get too hard on myself, but sometimes I'll see like a corner that is so despicable, and there's like little pieces of plastic and garbage and a pencil and coins. You know the corner that I'm talking about. And you just have to wipe it down and clean it up. And then, 3 days have gone by. I try not to get down on myself about it, though. I'm just like, how much does it hurt that it's there? I am allergic to dust, not so severely. I have quite good sinuses, so I would say it doesn't affect my breathing. My eyes get really itchy and red, or my nose, and it usually only happens when I'm cleaning or when I've just finished cleaning, because I've stirred everything up. So it's not usually an issue for me when it needs to be cleaned, and after it's been cleaned, like, I have to probably take a few showers, probably 2 or 3 days max, depending on the area. I get it in me that in order to clean or be organized, I'm gonna have to like move the mattress, clear everything out under the bed. I've got this special tool now, this rubber broom that's supposed to pick up all any tiny hairs from the carpet before I vacuum. Vacuum that up, put some carpet powder down, wait 15 minutes, vacuum again, scrub at any spots that there might be, stains from food dropping on the floor. We do try to have a lot of little area rugs everywhere, So that way our mess is not necessarily a mess that's going to remain. But overall, I would say that I'm probably a 4 out of 10. And I move up to like a 6, and I demand that I'm like an 8 when it comes to cleanliness. I like to have the bed made at least like once, but probably more so like 2 or 3 times a week. Just have like the bed to climb into, having it be made. The chair that gets loaded with boxes, clothing, shoes even, just the weirdest things that wind up in the chair. It's a catch-all. I like it to just be clear for, I think it lasts 20 minutes. It doesn't last a very long time. And many times I try to just throw things away, and that does not do any good. I feel like the more I throw away and then everything reaccumulates, we haven't gone out shopping, we haven't bought anything, but just the way the room rebalances out, it just fills right back up. So this has been a problem. Thank goodness that I got to live alone and in my own 2-bedroom apartment. Otherwise, I don't think that I would have the right mindset for living in this space, because I know for a fact it has nothing to do with the space. In fact, I think mentally I am doing better here. I have my own idiosyncrasies, my own mental illness issues that I've got to deal with that have nothing to do with Kevin and everything to do with who I am and who I've been my whole life. But it feels just as claustrophobic sometimes and overwhelming. It's easier to clean because it's less space. It's also, you're always within it. So there's not this room of a mess that you forget and you put aside. You're in your own mess. You're always there and dealing with it. So I feel like I'm always at work, but it's in a good way. So I hopefully am training myself for when I do eventually move to a larger space. I even got to be, I don't want to say negative. I say if I do move to a larger space, a lot of people stay in spaces like this for the rest of their lives, by choice or by happenstance. It's just where they wind up. So owning this apartment, I love it. I love the tub. It's a clawfoot tub that can get really deep, and you can have excellent bubble baths in it. Architecture of the inn is so nice. Sometimes I think I appreciate it so much, and that's why we won't have it anymore. Like something will happen and then we'll have to leave, or things like that. Yeah. So I like that there's wallpaper. I like that it's warm and the water's always hot. I don't know, there's not much I don't like about it. And it's just like you're almost forced to be with the people, and you don't get lonely or sad. Like I specifically have attachment issues, which is weird. You would think that's weird because of the situation with my son and him being so far away and that being by choice. I could have stayed up in Bangor, but he's a teenager in February too. So it's like, he's only getting older. He wants to be with his friends. I think I should just grow up myself. Let's part and we'll see each other when we see each other. It's, what they say? It's not quantity, it's quality time, right? And even our quality time is more or less sometimes turns into quantity because we're just like cooped up and we don't do anything. It's just a long ride and we just want to sleep and relax, and we watch Dhar Mann on YouTube. But he's forced to be in the same room with me. So I want to say that I like that. The same goes for Kevin. It's like he's not in his computer room or his office all day. He's at work all the time, and then when he does come home, he's in the office or in the man cave. there's time for that. If that happens, I think you could cherish not only the fact that we're doing this, but we're able to. Because small spaces can drive people apart, drive people crazy. Hopefully I'm not driving him crazy. I'm sure I am, but not in the way of away from me. But that's another thing. I like that Corbin can't just go to his room and close the door. And that kind of is what he was doing even before Kevin was with me. He just liked to be in his own room and on his phone or on his computer doing whatever he was gonna do. And now we share screens on his phone, and we watch the same things on YouTube. It's just like before, when he was like 7, you know, but he's older now and he's more mature. We go out and we walk Raz together, and when he does want time alone, it's really difficult, but he can be in the bathroom like I am now talking to you guys. So he'll just be on his phone FaceTiming with his friends. One of his friends actually was down here one of the times he was down here, so he went like out to the candy store and some other shops downtown with them, so he got a chance to experience this area with his friends. So anyways, I feel like there's a lot of things that I think about that I should be doing, and I try not to get down on myself about it. Instead, I try to let those thoughts and memories and feelings be those activities, if that makes any sense. I used to love to draw and be so good at it, and my mind, the pencil to paper, the thought, I have that exact feeling of what it felt like to make a beautiful portrait, but the action of doing it, I can't any longer. And instead of feeling like good, it's like I'm pushing too hard on the paper, and it's like giving me a headache. If you ever draw with a pencil and you get wood instead of the graphite, and it kind of like squeals across the paper and scratches and you can't even erase it, it's kind of like that. Like the action of it is gone. So more of watercolor. I like to do watercolor. I'm more likely to want to paint nowadays. It's just gentler on my mind. But even that, it's too demanding to do a good job. Who am I gonna show what I've done? And oh, look how great I am. Look at what I've done. Kind of a thing. Hang it on my wall. Of course, what's more vain than putting makeup on for you guys all the time? I realize that's more of like a vain thing, but I like to paint myself up. I don't know. It's just something that I've was taught to do ever since I was young, and I feel like I'll always do. I just like to keep things light and not talk about anything specific. Not raise any red flags with anybody. I have a habit of doing that. I would say I don't say things for attention. I definitely don't lie, but I do say things for attention, as in stir the pot. I do tend to feel like I'll be in kind of a doldrum, and there'll be nothing that starts it or sparks it. It's just really me. I really am just like, and it's an imagined fire that I set to whatever I say or how I say it. I mean well, and I'm not to be in trouble for lying or anything like that. But I know it's going to rub people the wrong way. But it's also going to spark other people in the right way. So I feel like it's worth it. And I like to be truthful always. But I guess probably the worst thing is sometimes I do cause drama, because I think of how in my head people are addicted to endorphins, epinephrine. I almost feel like I might be addicted to norepinephrine, like anger, jealousy, fear, things like that. It's common, like people really like to be afraid, things like that. But in a different sense, I guess. I don't really like to be afraid. But I think there's just this level of, wow, this could actually not be my reality. And I'm stuck constantly living out in my mind all the other possibilities and knowing like all the truths that have happened and could happen and things I see and how that's, I mean, why is it not me? You know, if it was them or if it's happened before, why would it not happen again? Why isn't it me? And just kind of always waiting for the other shoe to fall, as they say. So anyways, I just figured I'd come on here and make a video where I'm just chatting with you guys, hopefully not getting too deep, without putting any makeup on, just saying hi, I'm a normal person. And I just want you guys to have a good new year and be proud of yourselves no matter how far you go or don't go. Even if you're going in the opposite direction, you know, you wanted to quit drinking and for some reason you're drinking more than ever, or you wanted to exercise and now you're just got this new habit where you're going to the Dairy Queen every day, you know? So if they're your real goals, I want to believe in you and you'll get to them, but I also want you to know that everything happens for a reason and you will find a way to make yourself happy. At the end of the day, you can only be in charge of yourself. And being a parent is a really good eye-opener for that. And knowing that I have all these hopes and wants for all these people around me and what they mean to me, and that it might wind up just, Corbin could wind up never talking to me again one day, and just, you know, that happens. And I'm ready for it in a way that I'm not. I'm just like, knowing it's possible. Like, I always go to worst case scenario. If he's not texting me or if I send a message to him and it's not delivered, I honestly, even though I know like the truth is he doesn't have service or his phone died, one of my real actual thoughts is he just put me on block. I mean, I've gone to, and why I would say something like that or have that thought is I've gone to his house to pick him up, and he was home and his dad was home, and I knocked on the door and I said, Corbin, I'm here. And he looked, yelled up to his dad, Mom's here. And then John said, oh, that's my son's father. You're not gonna go with her today, ha ha ha. And then Corbin laughed and went back upstairs. And then I called and no one answered. So I knew they were both home and they were just ignoring me and just laughing. So it's like I'm not immune to it. I know that it's possible. He's just gonna feel like this is the way to go. He's, you know, the nerves are firing in that direction, that this is the way to go. He thinks it's funny, doesn't really care how it makes me feel, or he does care, and that's why he's doing it, type of a thing. So not being in control and just being aware of that is good. I mean, obviously there's things that you can do to kind of gain control over time, and you should make little changes to be healthier. If you're failing today, it doesn't mean you have to fail tomorrow. I don't know how to talk to everybody all about all their different issues with drinking and health, and family troubles, things like that. But I know it's important to try to love yourself and know that those little demons that are making you choose the wrong things, if you're making those goals not to, you know what your direction is. So anyways, I hope you have a great day. Sorry for rambling on so much and not being really cohesive or coherent. I was always really bad with comprehension as well. So this will go off on one last tangent before I go. The thing about me is, especially in history, I would read the paragraph, and then your job is to comprehend what you've read. And you can write a little sentence about what you just read, and then they'll ask you questions and you have to answer. And for the life of me, what I thought, what it was about, like I'd say, oh, this is what it was about. This is what I just read. Wrong. I can't imagine the answers that they give you, and you have to be so specific. You have to say what they said. I'm like, why? It seems more like a concept than like a ideal. Like you have to, that's what it was about. Like why? I don't know. I just felt like it didn't have to be so literal every time though. Like they couldn't get it through my head what they meant by comprehending by reading, especially in like history classes, social studies, etc. I was pretty good at like reading, English class, and reading classes, things like that. But the way that they expect you to comprehend what you've read in history is very different than in English class, than in reading class. So I would just do so bad. And then they would ask me like the dates things happened. And I'd always blank out. And I mean, like, I thought Picasso was back in the 1800s, you know, things like that. I just really poof. And then now when you're an adult and you learn them, it sticks with you forever. So I really got to think of like, maybe it's just how it was taught to us. You learn something on a quick reel on Instagram and I remember it forever. But when I was being taught about the different periods of art, I would have never been able to tell you before then, like 10 years ago, that Picasso was in the 1900s. Never. So anyways, once again, thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again soon. I might make another video this week with makeup. I'm not sure, because really it's just a time for myself to put makeup on. Don't really have anywhere to go, and I just kind of like enjoy the whole situation and know that I have an open door for everyone to come on in and just maybe do their own thing. Maybe they're doing the dishes, knitting a scarf, putting makeup on themselves, have me in the background, what have you. You're welcome. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.